Hello everyone, my name is Joke Sanusi. I'm an RN and I have a master's degree in psychiatry mental health. And today we'll be talking about depression, and here I have my daughter.
Hi, my name is Miriam Sanusi. I'm in college right now, currently in my third year. My major is actually psychology, and yeah.
So she's gonna be doing this with me because we're talking about depression, and she's gonna tell us how much depression people of our age are actually going through, and the effect on them. So I'll start by telling you what depression is, and we go from there. So depression is a mental health illness that negatively affects how you feel, how you think, and how you act. It causes feelings of sadness, loss of interest in things that you normally like to do on daily basis, and it can happen to anyone, to young children, to young adults, to adolescents, to anybody, old people. It can happen to anyone. It can cause suicidal at any age. It causes irritability. It causes people to just be hungry for no reason. It causes poor academic performance in school. It causes eating disorder, self-harm, avoidance of social interaction with other people. So, and depression can be caused by psychological or neurobiological issues, such as traumatic event, for instance, and this is due to some imbalances in the brain, such as low dopamine in the brain, low serotonin, and also low norepinephrine. Those are the neurotransmitter that causes depression in our brain. When we have low of all these neurotransmitters, it causes somebody to become depressed. And factors, that can also cause depression in kids, for instance, when kids have obesity, people start bullying them. It can lead to them having, self-esteem issue, which can cause depression. Sexual abuse can, lead somebody, when somebody is sexually abused, it can lead them to have depression because now they feel worthless and they get depressed. Drugs such as alcohol, nicotine, marijuana can also cause depression. Medication from depression, people to start drinking because they're trying to get rid of their depression. They start drinking to be able to adjust. Maybe when you drink, it makes them feel high, and they won't be depressed for a minute because of the alcohol they have in them. So eventually the person becomes misuse alcohol or have alcoholic disorder. It causes academic issue. When you're depressed, you won't have the motivation to study, you won't have the motivation to go to classes, and it causes family conflict at home, relationship difficulties because of somebody's, being depressed. You're not happy, you don't want to do anything, so you're just locking yourself up. At the end of the day, it has a lot of effect on your family because they're not able to get along with you. And also, it pushes some people to go and do criminal stuff that can now lead them to go to prison, and eventually somebody becomes suicidal, and a lot of people end up actually committing that suicide. So, and that is where we're gonna, talk to Miriam about, but let's Miriam share with us what she has experienced in college among her peers.
Well, I would say the first time I've seen like a depression within somebody was probably in actually middle school. When a lot of the time in middle school, I mean not a lot of the time, but in middle school, during the time when I was in middle school, a lot of people would self-harm themselves. You would see a lot of scars on their arms and stuff like that. So that was a sign of obviously depression, because you just don't self-harm yourself if you're not depressed. So I think that was the first sign of that. And then getting into high school was more, you see like more stuff on social media. You try to get more acceptance from more people and stuff like that. So the depression, it kind of looks differently. It's kind of just like a shadow over somebody's. Like you could just tell they're depressed. Like just walking around, they're just not happy. They're not smiling. They don't talk to anybody. And it's like in high school, a lot of the time it's like grouped up with different people. You have like the popular people and the people who are not that popular and stuff like that. So sometimes that causes like self-esteem issues for people, to where they become depressed because they feel they lack that self-esteem and they lack that acceptance from other people. And then now me being in college, depression just looks very all over the place. I see people who do abuse drugs and alcohol because of outside factors going on, which you just see things like that. I see people who don't go to class anymore because of things going on. Like for example, one of my friends from high school, he went to my college for our freshman year, and we've been friends ever since high school. And then he didn't go again my sophomore year, and he actually ended up committing suicide this past last year. And we still don't even know the real reason why, but I remember I hung out with him once that school year, and like, I mean, it's not like he seemed depressed necessarily. It's not like he was just like, I don't know, like I don't even know what depression necessarily looks like, but it's not like he seemed depressed, but it's like he definitely wasn't the same person he used to be in high school, which happens in college. College changes people to be different and stuff like that, or sometimes it causes people to be more lonely because they're away from home and they're away from the people they love. So and then after we hung out that one time, I would see him on campus, and every time I would see him on campus, he was just by himself, riding his skateboard and stuff like that. And then ended up committing suicide. So that was the real like eye opener for me, I would say. With just like, you just never know what somebody's going through, really. Like, they could put up a front, they could smile in your face and stuff like that, but they could really be depressed whole time and suicidal. And it's hard to catch the signs. I mean, one of the signs was like, I know I saw him like smoking and stuff like that, and then he actually died because of pills he was taking. So, and I didn't even know he took pills. So I mean, like, that's also like something that I didn't even know about him. That was just like, dang. And then there was actually one instance in my school, in high school though, where a girl, it was during a passing period or before a class went out, and she tried to commit suicide in the school, in the hallway. She tried to hang herself with her belt. And then so that was also something that was just crazy, because like after that happened, you would think the school would talk about it, or they would like try to just like educate people on things like that, but it was kind of like swept up under the rug, which I feel like a lot of time happens when it comes to talks about mental health in general, or just depression in general. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to educate our children or educate people, even like our older generation, because they need the education too on just what depression, what mental health illnesses are in general, because it looks different on everyone. Not everybody's going to carry that the same way. Just because somebody doesn't walk around, cry every day, doesn't mean they're not necessarily depressed. They could just be hiding it in a different way.
Thank you so much, Miriam, for that explanation. So depression is a serious mental health issue, and also the average age, according to statistics, is in the 20s. And depression, as I said, can happen at any age to anybody, both women, both men, but statistics says it's more common among women, but that is what statistics says. But it can happen to anybody at any age. But what Miriam said, she said depression people can show it in different ways. So But according to our DSM-5, we have specific criteria before you can, give somebody a diagnosis of depression. The person has to be, going through all these symptoms for a specific time before we can give that person a diagnosis of depression. And the person must have all these specific symptoms before we can give them this diagnosis of depression. And some people, like Miriam said, you don't say it unless they tell you. And some people are not willing to say it because of the way people are going to look at them, or the stigma of, oh, she has depression. And when we now say to people, and this is just an educational thing, when you as an individual see somebody in depression, we will do that person justice by making sure we encourage that person to seek help. We encourage that person, to open up, to get help, to get assistance. And if you're noticing somebody, telling you, oh, I'm going to commit suicide, they're writing a note and saying they're going to commit suicide. They may even tell you later on and say, oh, I'm just kidding. It is serious for somebody to come up and say, I'm going to kill myself. It is not a funny thing. It is not a simple thing we can just, just ignore it. It is a significant thing. If you love your loved ones and you see them in this kind of situation, they need your help, to reach out to people that can help them. I know it's not an easy thing. We can help them through giving them therapy. Therapy is talking to somebody and you telling them how you're feeling, and they will give you the technique on how you can deal with it. And also you get to a point when it is really bad, they can prescribe medication with it. Taking the medication and seeing a therapist can actually help you with this depression. As I said, depression is really huge in our society, and we are all trying to ignore it, and it's not something that we should ignore. If if we are able to educate somebody with this, we encourage you that you share our video, like it. Thank you, and have a lovely day.